Beside the Palm, Season 2, Episode 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beside the Palm. And you've put us over the edge today. We're on our 10th episode. We're in double digits now.
Wow.
So that's very exciting. So everybody, this is Yeoman. She is part of the glue that holds the St. Luke's Music and Fine Arts Ministry together. So welcome, Ann.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we always like to start off with just finding out about how you came to St. Luke's and your journey here. So do you want to tell us a little bit how you ended up with us?
I will. I moved to Houston in 1970. My husband then with our little girl who was, she was 2. And we started looking at churches and, well, actually go back. We started looking for churches after we bought a house in 1972. And we came down here in 70. And we had neighbors that came to St. Luke's and they said, oh, you should come to St. Luke's. And I thought, I don't want to go to a great big church. I don't want to go that far away. I mean, you know, it was 6 miles or something. I don't know. You know, we lived over near the Meyerland area, just west of the edge of Meyerland, across Chimney Rock. And so we started visiting neighborhood, smaller churches, and nobody talked to us. You know, the ushers would hand us a bulletin and they might say good morning, but more often than not, they didn't. And except at one church, when we dropped our daughter at the childcare, they said, would you like to teach Sunday school? They'd never laid eyes on us. So anyway, finally, in November of 72, we visited St. Luke's and it was Commitment Sunday. And the sermon was wonderful. The choir was wonderful. And when we walked in, when we got in the narthex, the head usher said, welcome to St. Luke's. You're new here, aren't you? Blew us away. So, and after the church service was over, we were standing kind of at the pew by where we've been sitting in the aisle, and we were listening to the postlude. And he came down to us again and started, you know, asked if we'd enjoyed the service, and we said we really had, and that and by that time the postlude was just about over, and I think I said, well, my husband loves the organ. He's played the organ, you know, through high school and college. And so he said, oh, let me take you up and introduce you to Bob Bennett. So he did. And then, you know, I joined the choir a few months later, and the rest is history. You know, been singing in the choir since I don't know, late 73, something like that. And
So my biggest takeaway from that is that you talked during the postlude.
Well, I think we did a little bit when he came down there. Yes, we shouldn't have done that. You're right.
No, it's funny. I had the exact same experience when I came to St. Luke's, because this was after I had been offered the job, but I had a couple weeks between. So I had come on that Sunday or two before just to kind of scout things out. And yeah, I went to all 3 services that Sunday because I wanted to hear all the different choirs and see everything. And yeah, one of the ushers, I may have been Christy. I can't remember who it was now, but they were like, are you new? Like, welcome. And I was like, wow.
I know. It's amazing with as many people as attend worship here that, you know, that they could pick out the person they hadn't seen before. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we have some wonderful ushers. We should get them on an episode sometime.
Yes, you should. That's a good idea.
So you do a lot for music and fine arts. Do you want to kind of give us a brief summary of some of what that is?
Well,
On a normal day, not right now.
on a normal week. Well,
Yeah.
on a normal week, on Wednesday, I come up to the church and prepare the packets of for the choirs and the ministers, and then I go to lunch. Have Tex-Mex with Bibi. And then on Sundays, I sing with the chancel choir, but I come early. I'm here by about between 7:30 and 7:40 to meet Pure Sound, and I'm there with them. And then in the afternoon, I'm back with them for their rehearsal. So yeah, it keeps me busy.
Yeah, and you do all sorts of stuff with chancel choir and
Yep.
all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
while you do wear many hats, you do have a particularly large involvement with Pure Sound, our youth choir. Do you want to tell us how long you've been involved with that ensemble and kind of what your involvement with them includes?
Sure. Well, I met Sid. I had sort of met Sid when in passing before 1996. He had come and sung a solo with us once or twice, and so I had, greeted him and said how I enjoyed hearing him sing. But to really talk to him and get acquainted, the first time was in February of 1996, and we had just heard that he had accepted the position of being our new director of music and fine arts. And we were having a large church initiative here at St. Luke's, and I was one of, I think there were 3 or 4 of us from fine arts that were attending. And Sid was leading that portion of the meeting. And basically what it was is we were getting together and talking about things that worked in big churches and things that didn't, and, getting ideas from one another from, different churches around town. And so when I walked into the fellowship hall, he was in there. Of course, Sid, he's always early, right? And they had coffee and donuts and stuff. So we started talking. I introduced myself, and I said I was so excited that he was coming to, be here, part of our staff. And I was particularly excited that the big thing that the committee that hired him wanted him to do was to start a youth choir. And I said how much I would have loved that when I was a kid, and I would have loved that for my children who were, grown. And so I said, let me know if I can help. Oops. Famous last words. 24 years later. Well, in the meantime, he had talked to Lisa Curry about being the head counselor for a retreat. And then he asked me if I would like to go as a counselor. And I said, sure, I'll be glad to. So I've been to every Pure Sound retreat on Labor Day since, and I've been on all the tours that they've gone on. So we've been on 12 trips. We go every other year. And traveling with the kids is the best. It is so much fun. They roll with the punches, if something changes in the schedule, they just go, oh, okay. Anyway, they're great fun. I love being with kids, and I firmly believe that my involvement with Pure Sound has really kept me young, aside from, my grandchildren, but I don't see my grandchildren every week. So like, right. I do Pure Sound. So
yeah.
It's been just a wonderful experience for me. And I'm passionate about Sid's mission with them. And, he has said over the years that we're laying the soundtrack for their lives. And it's true. We've had feedback from them where, they'll say that songs that they had learned and sung with Pure Sound will run in their heads, particularly when they're having a hard time in life. Yeah. So it's, I need to stop swinging. I'm probably making people seasick. I'm sitting in Grace's chair. I'm in Grace's office because my Wi-Fi has been spotty the last few days. So
Yeah.
I'm not used to being in a swivel chair, and it's, I apologize. I hope I haven't made anybody seasick.
No, I know the temptation's hard to resist. Well, you've segued right into my next question perfectly. I was going to ask if you could tell us about the beginnings of the Pure Sound Retreat, because I know you were right there with that started.
Yep. Well, you know, Lisa really helped sit with the planning and all of that. And the first time we were at out in Wimberley, at a camp in Wimberley, the first year, and it was a long drive. And we realized after that for a weekend, we needed to find a place closer to Houston. So after that, we went to Camp Tejas for about, I think it was 3 years. And then we started at Camp for All. And I believe it was 2000 or 2001, 2000, I think, because I think that was BB's first year. And we were at Camp Tejas, at Camp for All, which is a wonderful camp, and in Burton, Texas. So it's not a long drive, and
right.
So we have a wonderful time. This year's going to be different,
Yeah.
but we will still have fun. It's going to be virtual, but we will, you know, Grace and Sid are hard at work, and Lisa are hard at work making the plans, and we'll be doing our best to have it be great fun.
Yeah, no, I know it will be. I overhear all of the calls, you know, discussing them. So, so you also mentioned you've been all 12 tours, right? For Pure Sound.
All 12 tours, yeah.
Do you have a favorite tour? I know there was one that involved some tubing in Alaska that you seem to enjoy.
Oh my word. I grew up north in Indiana, in northern Indiana, and my home was located on a hill, at the top of a hill, not a huge, real high hill, but, you know, a hill that was fun for kids. So we could just walk out our door and sled down the hill. Now, you had to be careful because it ended at a river. So you had to be careful. But I always loved sledding, and but I'd never been snow tubing. And so in Alaska, we went to I think it was an Air Force base that was there near Anchorage. And they had some hills there, and they had like a ski thing where, you know, you hold onto the rope and it pulls you up to the top. And then the tubes were from big truck tires. I mean, they were huge, and you could either flop down on your stomach or, you know, sit in them. And the hole was big. So I think there was, if I remember correctly, there was some sort of webbing, you know, that went. But anyway, okay, so this makes a long story, but I didn't have a coat for cold weather that year. I don't know, something happened to my old coat. And so BB said, I've got, BB Bamberg, who was our accompanist, said, I have a cape that I bought in Austria. She said, I have two, and I would be glad to let you use one of them. So she did. Actually, I think I had used it in Boston too, the trip before. So anyway, she loaned me the cape again. So here I am, and this cape goes down to my ankles, but it was quite a sight. So I told Sid, and I in those days I was having trouble with my knees. I had not had my knee replacement surgeries yet. And I was having trouble with my knees. And I told Sid, I said, I've got to just go down the hill once. I've just got to go do that once. And he kind of looked at me skeptically. And I said, just once. Well, I think we were on the slope for maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours. I stayed until they said we had to leave. and I would flop down on my stomach and go down that hill, and that cape was flapping in the breeze behind me, and the kids were howling. And anyway, but you know, I feel like a kid when I'm with them.
Yeah.
So it was really fun. So that was a great fun memory. But gosh, every trip has been wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I would much rather be tubing in Alaska than this weather right now. Although at least the rain has cooled things off a little bit today.
Exactly. And our only trip that hasn't been to a cold climate is Cuba.
Hmm.
So
well, we all know Sid likes the cold, so that's not surprising.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you kind of touched on my next question, which was tell us where you grew up, which you said was in Indiana, and do you have a favorite childhood memory?
Oh wow. Well, this won't be just a pinpointed one memory, but my family had a cottage on the eastern shore of Lake Michigan, near. It was 14 miles north of St. Joe, Michigan, 10 miles south of South Haven, and that's my favorite spot on earth. And I just loved it. It was, the cabin was in the woods, but then you just went down the dune, right down to the lake and the beach. And, some years we'd have a big wide beach. Some years it'd be narrower, it just depended on the height of the lake. And so just, those were idyllic days.
Yeah. Is that cabin still in the family or no?
No, mother and dad, so I was born in South Bend, Indiana. I grew up in Mishawaka, which is right next to it. It's kind of like Houston and Bel Air, only on a much smaller scale. But South Bend is where the University of Notre Dame is, just, for those who are interested. So mother and dad, after my grandmother died, my parents moved out to Arizona. My sister lives in Scottsdale. So they moved out to Scottsdale because they wanted to get out of the winters. And so in the summers, they still went back to Lake Michigan and spent their summers there. And then they got to a point where it was just too much to keep up. And I have two brothers. And as I said, my sister's in Scottsdale, Arizona. My brothers are on the East Coast. One is in West River, Maryland, and the other is in the Philadelphia area. So we had watched our aunt and uncle try to take care of a place at Lake Michigan when they lived in the Washington, D.C. area. And it just didn't work very well. They'd get there in the summer for 2 weeks, and there would be so many chores to do that they'd spend the whole time working, and they didn't have any time to relax and have fun. And the kids always said, it's so fun when we come to your place, but we don't really like coming to our place because we always have to do all these chores.
Yeah.
So we knew that there was no way that the four of us could hang on to it. We knew it just, so they sold it. Somebody called and said, would you ever consider selling your place at Lake Michigan? And the timing was perfect. It was just like, it dropped into their laps right when they were thinking about doing it. So,
wow.
So yeah, so it's sad. I miss it.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can go back to the area sometime.
Yeah. When I met Hannah Wheeler, who, I don't know if you probably haven't met Hannah, but she sang with our choir. She was a student at U of H. And she, I got to be good friends with her because she didn't have a car and doesn't drive because she has a sight issue. And so I would take her to and from U of H campus so that she could come and sing at St. Luke's. And the first time we were driving down the freeway, and I said, so where did you grow up, Hannah? And she said, Dallas, and I don't know, she named a couple other places, and then she said Michigan. And I said, oh, where in Michigan? She said, South Haven. And I said, oh my gosh. I used to spend my summers 10 miles south of South Haven, and we went there to shop and all this kind of stuff. And so I nearly drove off the freeway. I nearly ended up in the ditch when she said that. It was so funny.
Yeah, I know exactly that feeling, because whenever I see even like a New Jersey license plate down here, I get a little bit giddy. And the other day I saw like the Eagles logo on the back of someone's pickup truck, and I was like, yay, there's a non-Cowboys fan around here. But yeah. So anyway, but talking about U of H in Houston, my next question was, how long have you been in Houston? And do you have a favorite thing about our city?
Well, I moved here in 1970, so long time. Um, uh, a favorite thing about it, well, I think, well, probably my favorite place in Houston, aside from St. Luke's, is the Arboretum at Memorial Park. However, it is so different now from they lost several thousand trees, I think it was, in Hurricane Ike. And then we had like a 3-year drought, and so many trees died over there. So it's very, very different now than it was when I used to go and walk real regularly. It's just kind of heartbreaking. And, you know, they're doing a lot of replanting, but by the time those trees get big, I will no longer be on this earth. But that is probably my favorite spot in Houston, aside from St. Luke's.
That's great.
And home.
Well, speaking of other favorites, I think this came up in conversation over there or something, but you have a favorite pie. Tell us about it.
Rhubarb. Oh, I love rhubarb pie. Yes.
Any particular reason?
Well, we used to grow it in our garden at home, and my mother made just fabulous rhubarb pie. She made great pies. Her crusts were to die for.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, rhubarb's just been my favorite.
Yeah.
So
Grace made one for the first time recently. We had never made a rhubarb pie.
it looked really good. It
Yeah.
really did. You know, she posted the pictures, and it looked really, really good. So I think she must have done a good job.
Yeah.
But she should have had Sid and me taste it to check, you know.
If only we had known.
In the future. Well, okay, next time, Ruth.
We know now.
Next time.
So, and since we're talking about all the favorite things now, and I guess you could use rhubarb pie, but think of something else if you can. What are your 5 favorite things right now?
Right now. My family and friends that keep in touch with me during this pandemic thing. You know, I've lost count now. It's got to be up in the 130 days or more. I started staying home on the 11th of March, and just, you know, haven't done much of, I mean, I get in the car and drive around just to get out,
Right.
be sure my battery doesn't die, and just to get out and be sure there's still life on Earth, you know. But I haven't done a whole lot else. I have finally had a couple of visits with my daughter and son-in-law that live in the Houston area. They live out in Fulshire, and I've gone out there a couple times, and we sit out on their back porch and visit, and I've had a couple meals. So that's helped a lot. But I haven't been able to see my son and his family who live in the Austin area, or my daughter and granddaughter who live in Bryan. So it's hard. That's hard. So okay, so that's one thing, the family and friends that are staying in touch. Let's see, what you said, 5. A good book. Love to have a good book to read. My daily walk. I have found that walking 30 to 40 minutes every morning, first thing in the morning, helps to keep me on an even emotional keel with being alone so much. It's helped a lot. And I only made it, I went out today and only made it for about 10 minutes because the humidity was so oppressive that I started not feeling too good, so I went back home. And then, let's see, how many have I given you? 2?
I think that was 3.
3. Okay, so dark peanut butter cups from Trader Joe's. Dark chocolate.
Great one.
And snickerdoodle straight out of the, you know, warm from the oven. I've never been a snickerdoodle cookie fan, but
love them.
My son and daughter-in-law sent me a box of cookies and a box of cookie bars for my birthday on Saturday. And my daughter-in-law kept checking with me, are you going to be home? And, you know, she said, it's critical when it gets delivered. And I'm going, wow, what's this going to be? You know, so it was these cookies warm from Tiff's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my word. So the snickerdoodle was one on the top layer, and I was getting ready to go out to my daughter's, and I thought, well, I'll just eat this snickerdoodle and see how it is. Oh my word. It was like heaven on earth. It was so good. So now I know if I have a snickerdoodle and it's cold, I'm going to heat it up in the microwave.
Yeah. Those Tiff's Treats box, they're just like the devil's temptation in a box.
Oh yeah.
You can't eat just one or three. You have to eat them all while they're warm.
And you know what? I'm the only one home, so you know,
Right.
you know who's going to eat them, right?
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, otherwise they go to waste, and you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah,
so.
they're going to my waste.
Yeah.
Oh,
So funny. I love those. I could use a cookie right now.
yeah, there you
So,
go. I
well,
should have brought you one.
yeah, I'll trade you for some rhubarb pie.
Oh, there you go.
So we're at one of my favorite my favorite things in the show, which is our rapid fire round.
Ooh.
So as always, I'm going to set my timer here for 1 minute, and we're going to see how many questions you can get through.
Okay,
You ready? You need to take a deep breath. You need to
I'm
prep
ready.
yourself.
I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
So, all right, ready to go. 1 minute. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Board games or card games?
Card games.
Roses or tulips?
Tulips.
What color is your toothbrush?
White.
Breakfast tacos or Danish?
Breakfast tacos.
Lions, tigers, or bears?
Bears.
Favorite season?
Spring.
Christmas or Easter?
Christmas, I think.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
Silver or gold?
Silver.
Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Early bird or night owl?
Oh, night owl. All the way.
Cake, vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla.
Lake or mountains?
What was that?
Lake or mountains?
Lake.
Eat in or dine out?
Dine out because I don't like to cook.
That's a good note to end on.
But
So-
time's up.
Yep, time's up. Yeah, I
How
stopped
many
it right
did
there.
I get?
I don't have to go. Grace will have to tally them up. I don't count. I just try to get through as many as I can.
Uh-huh.
So for our last question, which is always, there's one song or piece of music you would want people to listen to right after this, what would it be?
Okay. That would be Pure Sound's virtual recording.
Bound for Greater Things?
Bound for Greater Things. I can't. Sid's gonna howl. Oh, every time they sing it, I cry. You know, sorry. When they sing it, I just see all the faces of all the kids that have gone through for over now 24 years. And it just means a lot.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what touches my heart, go listen to Bound for Greater Things.
I think we know.
I love Ken Medema, and
Yeah.
you know, it's a real special song.
Yeah, it is.
So
It is.
pardon my tearies. I'm the town crier.
Oh. Penny is too, apparently. Oh. Okay. Oh. Well, on that note, Penny, okay. Why don't you go say goodbye? You go see Mommy.
You forgot to turn on the silencer switch.
Yeah, really. Well, that's a wonderful note to end on. So
Thank you,
we'll
Jim.
be sure to put that in the description down below. People can listen. So thanks so much for taking time to talk with us today.
Thank you. It was fun.
Was fun.
Thank
Well,
you.
you take care and don't eat too many Tiff Streets cookies.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.